I have been thinking for a really long time now to actually share my testimony about my walk with Christ and how I came to Him. And for a really long time, I was just contemplating about what I should include in my testimony, what not. And I was really just trying to perfect it, which was the wrong approach. So I've decided to now freestyle it and see what the outcome is. So, something about me. Hello, my name is Richard. I'm 20 years and I live in Germany. My mother language is German, but I speak English. At least I try to use English as much as I can because of my walk with Christ. So, I grew up in a Protestant household. At least my biological mother is is Protestant, and her side of the family, the German word is evangelisch, if I'm correct, and the family side from my dad isn't are non-believers, so we always had this conflict, and I never really had this intimate relationship with Christ when I was using German. Yeah, we would like go to church on Sunday, pray before meals. We would sing like Christian bedtime songs, but there was never really this aspect of relationship, and it was never like as if he was communicating with me. I was just sitting in church service and I was just thinking that this is boring, this is a waste of time, this doesn't seem real, and there happened a lot of messed up things, and this caused me to move away with my dad, and he essentially raised me then on his own and took me in when I was like 4 or 5 years old. I sometimes went to my mom and my grandparents on the weekends, during the holidays, whatever, but I spent most of the time just with my dad and with my younger sister. Her name is Luna, she's 17. And because of that, I drifted even further away from actually having a like connection to Christ. And we moved to a different city about 100 kilometers away from the town where I grew up in. And I used to be really isolated. I didn't really like people, big groups. I was really shy. I had to do a lot of therapies, like because of ADHD. I even had like horse riding. I still don't understand why I need to do that or needed to do that. And it was just a lot of stuff happened that I never really understood. The only information, the only thing I knew is I needed to do that because everybody said that I needed to do that. And then when I I moved to this town with my dad, the first years went relatively smooth till I got into primary school, where I then like took these horse riding therapy sessions that I also had before I moved away with my dad. And around fourth grade, my classmates started bullying me, which led to me just being even more isolated and just quiet. I would be getting bullied at school. Would just come home. Dad would ask me, "Hey, how was school?" And I was just say, "Yeah, it was good." And then I then my grades dropped. I was a really good student in third grade. Um, I was really inspired by my dad's discipline, so I tried to um, only get good notes, the best notes in German. Like the German grade system is 1 is the best and 6 is the worst. And I tried to only get like 1, 2, and 3. And because of the bullying, my grades dropped. I wasn't really paying attention in school. I wasn't really doing my homework, which then led me to be on. I then had to go after primary school to one of the worst middle schools in my city, where I hoped that because nobody knows me, I can just start over again, and this is basically a new beginning. So I just started to grind school again, but then the bullying happened again on an even extremer level. And a few years prior to that, around 2016, my dad met a woman who is now my stepmother, and the two of them have actually a child, which is another sibling, a sister. She's 6, and the woman also brought a son into the relationship, who is currently 15, which like brought me hope again, because I finally had this. I finally felt like that I had a mother again, and I only was on the school for like a year. I wasn't the best student because of the bullying. I was also really, I also bullied other people. I was um, racist towards people that had a dark skin color, which almost got me suspended from school. And after that year, I went to a different school, um, the one that I at first hoped I could um, go to after sixth grade, but because of my notes, my grades, I wasn't able to attend to it and like make this transition. And it was then around the time when I got exposed to pornography, which was really bad. I did it at school, I did it at home, and it was just bad. It was every day. It was just horrible. And I don't want to make any one of my family members, like, make them the villain of the story, but we always had this conflict between the family from my dad and the family side from my mom, and they always were pointing fingers and trying to mark the other family as the villains, which just tore everyone apart, me and my sister. And I then also got more and more exposed to substances, alcohol, because my mom was just hanging around when we were visiting, often with people who would drink or smoke weed and whatever. And this is something that this is where I want to thank my father, especially because he used to party a lot when he was my age, but when he raised me, he was so persistent on trying to keeping me away from all the bullshit that he did, like drinking, partying, smoking, whatever. I was not allowed to do that. Like asking him, "Hey, can I like go out at night with friends?" wasn't even it wasn't even a question that I was allowed to think about, like a question that I was allowed to ask, not in a bad way though. And so I was just really exposed to all of these um, worldly things. And after leaving school at 10th grade, graduating at 16, I started a training to become a salesman in retail. And shortly after I started this job, I just felt horrible. I woke up um, tired every morning. It took me like 2 hours every day to just function properly, and it was the first time that I really got exposed to the concept of self improvement and just working on yourself. And because I was dissatisfied of this training of a salesman, because I was just feeling bad all of the time, I saw that, or I believed that by improving myself, I could get out of this situation and actually live a life of freedom and abundance. And for the first 1.5 years, I was just trying a lot of things, giving a lot of empty promises, making a bunch of mistakes, cutting a lot of people off. Um, all of like, I had like two friends after primary school. Um, my best friend from primary school backdoored me in seventh grade, so I only had two people. But I just cut them off, and I also have to admit that I was communicating it in a bad way, especially to my best friend. Um, Not the one from primary school, but the one from my hometown. We know each other basically since I'm 3 months old because our mothers met, and the way I was communicating it was I was telling him what my dream was, but I communicated it in a way where it seemed like an offer. Either um, I chase my dreams and we end the friendship, or we continue the friendship and I stop and chasing my dreams. And I chose my dreams. And when it comes to this other friend and a lot of other people, I believed that I had to cut them off in order to get where I want, because I felt like everybody was thinking differently than I do and they were just holding me back. Looking back, I don't regret making all of these choices, but I believe that there were definitely better ways to do, to like, I could have done better choices and at least communicated in a better way. And I've joined two online communities about 1.5 years into this whole self improvement journey stuff, which was anime shreds and the real world. And through anime shreds, I've met a person that I would consider my friend. His name is Mario. I texted him because I saw that he has like the real world logo as his profile picture. So I just hit him up and I was like, hey, I'm also in this community, what you have been up to. And he was really there for me for a really long time at the beginning, just keeping me accountable and actually leading me back to Christ. He was really persistent on that. He was telling me on a daily basis what he's been doing, talking about his walk with Christ, and he was really persistent about and just making sure that I pray, that I get a Bible and actually read that. So after not really taking his advice for a really long time, I decided, okay, I'm gonna get a Bible. So I ordered one, a German Bible, and I was reading it. I finished Genesis completely, and I finished like the first 10 chapters of Exodus, but even then there still was no connection with the Lord. I was praying, I was communicating everything in German, but there was just nothing. And at some point, randomly Christian like videos appeared on my YouTube Shorts feed. I was just scrolling and watching videos. They felt definitely a bit weird. It was like AI animated, and it for those who have watched this far, you some of you might know the videos. It's like don't scroll or Jesus will be sad, or if you scroll you end up in hell or whatever, those kind of videos. And because I was just exposed then to a lot of scripture in English and people just preaching the word in English, I just started to use more English. And around that time, I also made a request in one of my prayers, which is I was telling him in German, hey, I want to read more English books, but I'm afraid of actually picking them up because I feel like that I don't really understand the context and that I'm just wasting my time and not learning anything. And this was then where the language transitioning started. At some point, I got myself a KGV, and I just started to read that. I gave the German Bible to my brother. I still hope that he finds Christ. We sometimes speak about him. And he's getting more used to actually talking about him and actually being more and more open to considering actually investigating this whole thing. But back to the point. So from that point on, I was really lukewarm for a really long time. I still struggled with a lot of things: lust, pornography, laziness, and then I've met a woman from the same community, Anime Shreds, who actually texted me because she commented under one of my posts. I don't know really what it was about, um, whatever. I was just talking about a specific topic, and she was just asking if you could have a conversation about that. And from that point, we just started texting, sort of building a friendship, accountability, having calls like every weekend. And we both then um, really just got closer and closer to Christ. And she really tried to discipline me in my walk. She was really looking out for me, and my flesh is honestly afraid of that woman. And I think not only my flesh, but also um, a part of myself, because this woman really just shook my world and changed a lot of things, changed me a lot. And I'm still afraid of actually engaging in more interactions. And you have like this fear of change and everything that could happen, and you just tend to overthink. Um, but I don't believe that all of these things, over these anxious thoughts, um, are even remotely as bad or as harmful as they they try to appear to be. And she was talking about about one particular book, which is Living Fearless by Jamie Winship, which was really liberating for her because she was able to just let go of a lot of lies that she believed in. I also envied her for a really long time about her walk with Christ, her discipline, and just how far she seemed to be on her walk. It just felt like I was always chasing after her. It's like you are running a race and you are trying to catch up to someone, but the truth is, the Christian walk is not a race, it is not a competition. And it took me a while to actually learn that. And I then came, because of a Christian TikToker, Realism, um, across another book, which is Experiencing God by Henry Blackaby, which is this one. This book had the most influence on my life after the Bible. And I currently have finished 70 of 360 pages. And this book was really what just helped me to surrender everything to God, and really allowing Him to save me from my old life. And if I look back now at everything, I would describe my life as the following. Everything before finding Christ was like dreaming a dream. It's like as if I was asleep for like 19 years. So I just got saved. At 19, I turned 20 on December 24th, 4th, like next Wednesday when Christmas is. I got saved at um, around August, I think, this year. I don't want to like pinpoint to an exact date, but it was definitely during fall. And before that, my life felt like a dream, a false reality, and I was just sleeping, and he was slowly waking me up from that dream. And since then, it's like is if he would twist open my head secretly and take out like everything from my old life. I just I forget things about people that I don't have contact with. I forgot them at all, their names, stuff that they like, stuff that I did. It's just he twists it open and like cleans everything out with like a vacuum cleaner so that everything is like nice and clean, and then he puts like everything, like he screws it back on. And since then I'm on an adventure. So I am a big fan of manga, and I'm currently reading One Piece. So far I finished 32 of 110 volumes. And if I had to describe my walk with Christ in one sentence, it would be finding the One Piece with Jesus. Because since he slowly started to wake me up, stuff gets wilder and wilder. Time makes no sense anymore. Everything moves so fast. Growth is unreal. When I was like starting with my like self-improvement journey, I don't really call it that anymore. I'm just um finding the One Piece with Jesus now. um I was just frustrated. I felt like I'm not growing, nothing is really changing. But my since I found Christ and I've given my life to Christ, since like this whole process started, even before the point where I got saved, there is so much happening that your brain that I just can't comprehend it anymore. I you grow so much to an extent where the person that you was yesterday is unrecognizable in comparison to the person that you are today. And the rate at which time is moving is insane. It's like you snap like this, and an entire week just passed, or a month, and you just reflect, you just try to reflect on what happened these last few days, and all you see is growth and the work that Christ did, and you are at awe, and you can't comprehend the growth that has happened. I'm just often just looking back, even like 2 or 3 days, and I'm like, the only thing that I can say is wow, because I'm just speechless about what he has done over like this. I'm speechless at the growth that I'm receiving, the healing, especially from like pornography, the relationships she's healing within my family, like the relationship with my stepmom, for example. We currently live together for about like 10 years now. And like the relationship with my little sister who is 6, it is mind blowing. I I can't explain it. I just I I have no words. Mm, I don't know if I'm gonna make any other videos about my testimony. I believe that there will be more videos coming, mostly because as you grow in your walk with Christ, so your testimony grows also. And naturally, you just have more things to talk about and more things to add. So maybe I'm just gonna do a testimony every once in a while. Maybe, I don't know, every few months or weeks, not weeks, years. Um, but yes, if you have watched this far, I appreciate you a lot. And yeah, I love you, and yeah, I hope you have a blessed day.